Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into a massive shift in how we process and actually hold on to information. We're going to talk about transitioning from being just rote memorizers, people who try to cram isolated facts into their heads, to becoming true knowledge architects. We'll be exploring some seriously powerful strategies from an educational framework that's designed to help you build genuine expert-level comprehension.
So be honest with me for a second. Is memorization holding you back? If you've ever felt completely drowning in the sheer volume of information you're expected to process, believe me, you are not alone. We have all hit that wall of information overload. But instead of that frantic late-night cramming we all remember from high school, think about your daily professional life. Think about trying to wrap your head around a brand new industry trend, or digesting a dense 50-page report, or, learning a totally complex new software system. Trying to just brute force that data into your memory, it almost always leads to forgetting it the very next day. It's a completely exhausting cycle. But what if there was a vastly superior way to learn?
Okay, let's dive into this. There is a huge difference between rote memorization and true expert learning. Rote memorization treats knowledge like isolated facts, kind of like having a massive pile of disconnected puzzle pieces just scattered across the table. Without the picture on the box to guide you, none of it makes any sense. Expert learning, on the flip side, focuses entirely on interconnected frameworks. True experts, they simply do not memorize random, isolated facts. Instead, they build mental structures. They understand how different ideas relate, how the little nuances connect, and how a concept from one discipline can suddenly light up a totally different one.
Section 1. The Master Key Principle. Finding the Foundation.
Now here's something really wild about how information is actually structured. In virtually any subject out there, roughly 20% of the concepts are the vital, core, big ideas. The remaining 80%, that's just secondary information. So to become an expert learner, you absolutely must strategically identify that critical 20%. This is basically the Pareto principle applied directly to your cognition. These core concepts are literally the load-bearing walls of your understanding. If you try to grasp 100% of the details right out of the gate, you're going to drown in the noise. But if you can train yourself to scan a textbook, a briefing, or a project and just extract that core 20%, well, you've just found the master key to the entire subject.
Think about it like this. You can't build a city out of every random piece of rubble. You absolutely need the vital foundation. Focusing ruthlessly on this 20% core is exactly what prevents cognitive overload. It strips away all that unnecessary fluff and leaves you with the sturdy, reliable materials you need for the next phase of your learning journey. Because once you've got that solid 20% foundation locked in, you can start doing the really fun part, actually architecting your mind.
Section 2. The Expert Brain Map. Designing the Blueprint. There's a persona from our source material named Captain Spark, and he captures this idea perfectly. He says, experts have developed a sophisticated mental framework for organizing knowledge, understanding nuances, and relationships. I love that. This framework visualizes the expert brain not as some dusty old filing cabinet, but as a vibrant, interconnected city. It means experts don't view disciplines like science, economics, or history as isolated little islands. Nope, they see them as interconnected districts in a bustling metropolis. And the roads, the bridges, and the pathways between these districts, those are just as important as the actual buildings themselves.
Section 3. Anchors and Interdisciplinary Systems.
So the very first tool you need to start building these mental bridges is a real-world anchor. Essentially, this is something familiar that helps you connect to a brand new abstract concept. And the reason this is absolutely crucial comes down to how our brains actually process new information. See, when you encounter a highly abstract idea, your brain starts frantically searching for existing neural networks to attach it to. If it can't find one, the information just slides right off. There's literally no cognitive Velcro for it to stick to. So you have to peg that abstract idea to something you already know, something incredibly tangible from your own daily life to create that very first bond.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we map this out in practice. It's a quick, sequential, three-step blueprint. Step 1, identify the core concept. That's finding your 20% foundation. Step 2, establish your real-world anchor, so the idea actually has something to stick to. And Step 3, connect to the system. This sequence right here is the exact method for taking a seemingly impossible abstract idea, turning it into something familiar, and then integrating it into everything else you already know.
Let's make this super concrete. Let's look at a core concept, inflation. This is a prime example straight from Captain Spark's framework.
Inflation is a perfectly abstract economic concept, right? It's exactly the kind of jargon you hear on the financial news that either confuses people or makes their eyes completely glaze over. It's definitely a vital 20% core concept for understanding economics for sure, but it is notoriously hard to hold on to if you don't already have a background in finance. But apply a real-world anchor, and suddenly inflation is simply the rising cost of your favorite snacks over time. Boom! This abstract economic principle isn't just invisible math or squiggly lines on a chart anymore, it's the very real fact that the candy bar or bag of chips you love, which used to cost $1, now somehow costs $2. Grounding the abstract concept in something this undeniably familiar instantly makes the content accessible, meaningful, and most importantly, totally unforgettable.
Okay, let's move to step 3 and see how this all connects. This is where we build those vital interdisciplinary bridges. Our core concept, inflation, naturally lives in the economics district. But what if we build a bridge over to social studies? Suddenly, we start seeing how government policies try to control or react to that inflation. Then we can build another bridge right into personal finance, looking at the direct impact inflation has on the purchasing power of your own savings account. By mapping it out this way, we aren't just memorizing a vocabulary word, we're seeing the entire living ecosystem.
Section 4, your knowledge architecture mission.
So the crucial point here is just how transformative this approach actually is for you. When you actively map your knowledge out like this, you immediately gain a deeper, way more durable understanding. Why? Because you are actually creating multiple neural pathways to the exact same piece of information, making it so much harder to forget. It unlocks the creative application of your learning, it leads to the development of authentic products, and it makes complex topics incredibly accessible, no matter what your educational background is, because you're always starting with what's already familiar to you. Ultimately, it empowers those insightful connections, giving us a much-needed escape hatch from the exhausting memorization trap.
So here is your mission, straight from Captain Spark. Put a challenging concept in the middle, find your anchor, and draw the links. I'm challenging you to do exactly this the very next time you encounter a difficult subject. Whether it's a massive project at work, a complex new skill you're trying to learn, or a really dense nonfiction book you're reading. Grab a piece of paper, sit down, and actively create your own expert brain map.
I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. What will the first district of your interconnected mental city look like? It is officially time to stop just storing data in your head like some biological hard drive. It's time to step up and start truly architecting your knowledge. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy building.